Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wekiva High School is proud to welcome you for the last week of the 2020 volleyball season to Mustang Arena. Please welcome our guests from Apopka High School. They are the Blue Darters. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we ask that you please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem performed tonight by Wekiva Choruses and Wekiva Volleyball's own Diamond Whitehorn.
Broad shines and bright stars through the perilous light, o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red like the bonfire. O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the
Thank you, Diamond. And now let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Apopka. And we will start with their reserves. Number 1, Taylor Adams. Number 3, Lily Messier. Number 4, Destiny Concepcion. Number 6, Kimberly Edwards. Number 8, Kayla Picard. Number 10, Jada Middlebrooks. Number 12, Isabel Reyes. And number 15, Haley Reed. The starting libero for the Blue Darters is sophomore number 13, Juliana Naldalny. Starting on the court, serving first, is senior opposite side hitter and setter number 14, Laurel Rogers. Serving second, sophomore outside and right side hitter number 2, Lyndon Warren. Third in the rotation for the Blue Darters is senior middle blocker and right side hitter number 9, Emma Smith. Fourth in the rotation for the Blue Darters is senior outside and right side hitter number 5, Noelle Baker. Serving fifth for the Blue Darters, senior outside hitter number 11, Kamaya Jones. And finally for the Darters, serving sixth, junior middle blocker number 7, Jada Robinson. The head coach of the Blue Darters, Nimi Dominguez, and assistant coaches, Sue Ceballos and Ramon Reyes. And now let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. We'll start with their reserves. Number 2, Madeline Holmes. Number 8, Aviona Hall. And number 1, Emily Harris. The starting libero for the Mustangs is 5'5" junior number 16, Jenna Japek. And starting on the court, we'll save our seniors for last. So serving second is 5'3" sophomore outside hitter number 5, Denia Jackson. Serving fourth for the Mustangs is 5'5" junior defensive specialist number 1, Emily Harris. Serving fifth for the Mustangs, 5'6" junior right side hitter, number 12, Cassidy Palmer. And now our seniors, serving first, 5'3" setter, number 11, Luis Concepcion. Serving third for the Mustangs is 5'8" senior middle hitter, number 13, Ariel Welch. And finally for the Mustangs, serving sixth is 5'5" senior middle and outside hitter, number 7, Shania Sylvain. The head coach of the Mustangs is Heather Lorenz with assistant coaches Eddie Barreau and Talon Allard. The officials for tonight's game are from the Florida Professional Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone, whether at home or here in the arena, to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. And a special welcome to those of you joining us on our live stream. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs. I am joined tonight, as I have been all season long and all for the past 13 seasons before that, by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief. Will be taking you through tonight's program.
Thank you, Mark. As always, a fine introduction. And if you did not get the opportunity to join us live for senior night, it is recorded. Please take a look. We have 3 seniors tonight. We wish them the best of luck as we get ready to start tonight's game. We are live from Mustang Gymnasium. Wekiva comes in with a 2-12 record. Apopka 6-6, obviously the favorite. But Wekiva has been playing their best volleyball as of late. Last night was their most solid performance. They lost 3-1. However, all 3 of the losses were by no more than 8 points. And so as we begin tonight, this is the second matchup between these two inner-city rivals. Apopka took the first meeting on September 15th by a 25-9, 25-12, and 25-15 record. This is the second of 3 home games this week for Wekiva. They will finish out the season on Friday against West Orange. That is on the road. Apopka, in the meantime, they will finish out their regular season against Windermere on Thursday. And then the district championship tournaments will take place next week. Wekiva, a member of District 6A9, Apopka, a member of 7A3. And we are getting ready to go. Laurel Rogers with the serve. The senior puts it into play. And Wekiva gets that first point there. A low return. A kill from the net, low and away in the middle of the Apopka defense. 1-0 Wekiva.
Welch on the kill. Concepcion serves first for Wekiva.
So Lois Concepcion will lead off the serve. And an unforced error. She will be followed by Denia Jackson, Ariel Welch, Madeline Holmes, Cassidy Palmer, and then Shania Sylvain. In the meantime, Apopka is going to take a 2-1 lead with Lyndon Warren, the outside hitter and right side player, sophomore, at the service. Puts the ball into play, and another unforced error. 2-2 in the first set. Service returns back to Wekiva.
Next to serve for the Mustangs, Denia Jackson.
Outside hitter, 5'3", sophomore, puts the ball into play from the middle over to the right. Concepcion tries to serve.
Side out back to the Blue Darters. Next in the rotation for Apopka, number 9, Emma Smith.
So Emma Smith, your number 3 setter, middle blocker, right side senior. She will be followed by, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Here's Concepcion sets from the right. Cassidy Palmer, just outside. Apopka point, 4-2. So Noelle Baker will serve next. She's not serving now, but she will serve next. Holmes hits the ball over the net. It'll be out of bounds, and the lead grows to 5-2. So right now, Kayla Pickard is serving. She will be followed by Emma Smith. Emma Smith is doing the serving now. She's number 3, followed by Noelle Baker, Kamaya Jones, and then Jada Robinson. And Wekiva will take service back.
Welch with her second kill of the night. Service returns to the Mustangs, serving as libero for Wekiva, number 16, Jenna J-Pack.
And J-Pack hits it into the middle. Concepcion sets from the left, and Palmer unable to get the ball inbound. I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. This is senior night here at Wekiva. They will have one more home game. That will be on Thursday against Lake Howell.
Checking into the game for the Blue Darters, number 8, Kayla Picard, and number 12, Isabel Reyes.
So Kayla Picard on the serve. She is a setter. Apopka likes using a 6-2 formation. Ball gets over the net and hits it. And Concepcion just could not react quick enough.
Picard with the ace. Yeah, that's one of those moments, Neil, that if it were possible to hit that net in exactly that spot on purpose, then people would do it all the time.
Yeah, and with that angle. And by the way, a setter, which is Picard's position, they're like the quarterback in football. They pass the ball to their teammates. And 6-2 means there are 2 setters in the formation. They rotate around those 2 setters.
Picard barely avoids the net call, and Holmes is off the mark on the attack. That'll be a free point to the Darters.
So the Darters have scored 6 of the last 7 points. They now have an 8-3 lead here in set 1. Picard is senior setter. Couple of dribbles, jump serve. Concepcion hits it over. Set there. Hit back by Palmer.
I don't think she meant to do that, and you're exactly right. Cassidy Palmer on the Mustangs kill. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 1, Emily Harris, and she will serve next for the Mustangs.
So Emily Harris leads the team in aces. And another low one there was able to get dug out by Apopka. Jay Peck sets it to Concepcion, who sets it down to...
Yeah, that would have been really cool if anybody had
Harris.
communicated that was what was going to happen. But Concepcion's not able to get there. She wasn't expecting that on the set. Service back to Apopka. Serving as libero is Kamaya Jones. Oh, excuse me. She is not the libero. It's the blue.
Yeah, she's playing the outside hitter today. Juliana Naldini is the libero for Apopka tonight. So as we get a break in the action, of course, Apopka wants to win this game, get over 500. They come in 6-6. And they're in one of the tougher districts among the state. Wekiva actually used to be in that same district.
So we're going to call for a reserve here, as the play was inadvertently whistled dead. The official thought that the Darters were out of rotation, but in fact they were not. And so here, Jones picks up the ace, and the Mustangs will request their first timeout of set number 1.
Apopka leading 10-4, set 1. We'll be back on the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. Mustang Gymnasium, I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. An inter-city rivalry, Apopka here. The Apopka Blue Darters taking on the Wekiva Mustangs and holding a 10-4 lead as the ball is put into play by Kamaya Jones. Apopka sets in the middle, attempted kill by Warren. Concepcion sets to Palmer, the tip over into the middle. Naldity sets up her teammates. Now it's Concepcion and Wekiva's turn at the net. And
nobody there. Mustangs ran out of hits. So a free point coming there to the Darters as just some miscommunication happening on the Mustang side.
And now Apopka's taken 9 of the last 10 points to build that 11-2 lead. Action at the net.
Yeah, Concepcion was trying to get a solo kill there, which would have been cute, but she was just too close to the net, and the ball was coming in at the wrong angle for that. If she had been maybe a little earlier and a little higher, that might have worked.
Yeah, and Concepcion is a setter, as we talked about before the break. Your setters are basically the equivalent of a quarterback as the ball is put into play here.
And yeah, miscommunication there between Palmer and Jackson. They did not deserve that point, but they will get it anyway.
And the score is now 12-5 in favor of Wekiva. Palmer.
Service returns to the Mustangs. Cassidy Palmer up next.
Palmer, player of the match twice on October 3rd against East River, September 30th. And a kill there, an attempted kill by Warren, way too hard. And 12-6 now. We are in set one, just began about halfway through the first set. Tonight was senior night for Wekiva. If you did not have a chance to join us, take a look on Mustangs.com. As Palmer, ace.
Cassidy Palmer finds an open spot for a Mustang ace. Yeah, that one was absolutely returnable. I mean, there was nothing wrong with Palmer's serve there, but I think there was some miscommunication there on the Darter side. Until it was too late.
Palmer serves again, and she's going to get another point for Wekiva. Some indecision there at the net by the Blue Darters. Cuts the lead 12-8. Wekiva on the left of your screen in the dark blue and yellow. Blue Darters wearing the traditional white with blue numbers, and they are going to extend that lead. Actually,
Cassidy Palmer's serve is once again unreturned, and that makes her third ace.
Yes, once again, Palmer found the back corner. Overhead slam. Set up in the middle there. Once again, Warren drops it in. Nice shot by Harris to retrieve it. Set up again by Pickard.
It's hot. Oh, that might have gone out, but Harris takes the safer choice. And then a miscommunication between Harris and Sylvain. And that will end Palmer's streak at the service helm. Side outs to Apopka. Serving as libero now is Juliana Naldoni.
So as Naldoni gets ready to serve here, bouncing the ball. Apopka needs some point to regain some of that momentum. They gave up 5 in a row. Concepcion sets.
Sylvain with a nice looking attack there, and it converts. Shania Sylvain on the Mustang kill. Service returns to the Mustangs, and Sylvain will serve next. So the Mustangs get service back. Unfortunately, we can't keep Cassidy Palmer in the service spot forever, but Sylvain will now have a go at it.
Sylvain also plays flag football and is a member of the weightlifting team. And she's going to get that in on the left side, where now Warren's going to go for another shot, and this time successful, 14-10 in favor of Apopka.
Lyndon Warren on the Darter kill. Service back to Apopka. Checking into the game for the Darters, number 14, Laurel Rogers, and also returning is number 5, Noelle Baker. Next to serve will be Rogers.
So Rogers, the number 1 server, senior, does her job, gets that ball in. Concepcion has to dig.
That was an awkward attack there by Smith. Mustangs handle it well, though. Attack by Baker here. Harris has the dig, and a rough pass by Palmer. Mustangs make the most of it, nearly get a kill there.
Warren
Darters
again.
are fast enough to react.
Over the middle.
Welch with a good look there. It's dug by Rogers. Baker. Concepcion nearly gets her solo kill attempt handed right back to her.
Warren with the attack again.
Palmer.
Saved by Palmer.
Mustangs going to have to settle for a free ball here.
Set up on the right. And Smith with the kill. Concepcion returns. That's the setter.
Yeah, J-Pack had a good dig there. This is the longest service we've seen tonight. And that's finally going to put an end to it as number 2, Lyndon Warren, gets the kill.
Yeah, Warren with a beautiful kill there, especially the accuracy.
Yeah, and you might have heard in the background there, the crowd reacting to that on both sides. Both Mustang fan and Darters fans were real pleased with that service.
As Rogers puts the ball into play, Wekiva on the third hit.
Now Jackson was late there, and also too low.
Timing was off for the Mustangs from the beginning as soon as they received that serve. So Rogers, the number 1 server, senior, and she's your other setter in addition to Pickard. Attack from the right, hits the net, and point goes to Wekiva.
Yeah, Baker couldn't quite get that one over. It falls right back into Darter territory, and they were out of hits. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 2, Madeline Holmes. Next to serve for Wekiva, Lois Concepcion.
Concepcion with a couple of dribbles, overhead slap, and ace. She will extend her lead, team lead.
Concepcion picks up her first ace of the night.
So as you would imagine, a setter leads the team in assists. It's Concepcion as she serves again.
Soft off speed, and Concepcion is there and ready for it from Baker.
Warren
Tip coming from Warren, and that's going to convert. Lyndon Warren on the Darters kill. That's her third tonight. She has all 3 of the Darter kills early in the first set. Next to serve will also be Warren.
So just like in baseball, when the fielder makes the play to end the inning, he then comes up and leads off the next inning. Warren gets the point and will serve here. Warren is the only sophomore on the Apopka Blue Darter team. And we are going to have a stoppage.
And it's going to be a yellow card delay is issued by the officials.
So Apopka holding a 17-12 lead in the first set as Warren puts the ball into play. Concepcion sets. Hit over the middle. Apopka's turn now. Blocked. And they got to get it over. Concepcion doing it backwards.
That's a free ball kill. Lois Concepcion on the free ball kill. Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, Denia Jackson. Well, you take him any way you can get him.
Jackson with her first serve, returned by Naldani, set up, and that's going to be out. Jones sending the ball into the Wekiva defense, making the score 18-13 in favor of Apopka. And now serving Emma Smith, the middle blocker, right side, and she's going to get an ace off the back row of Wekiva. I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. We are at Mustang Gymnasium in Apopka. The second meeting between the two Apopka rivals, only about 5 miles apart geographically. Apopka taking the first meeting 3-0. Smith puts the ball into play. J. Peck.
Here comes Palmer, and too much heat on that. And we'll pause here as the Mustangs request their second timeout of set number 1.
When we return, Apopka will be serving with a 20-13 lead, set 1. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. Late in set number 1, Darters leading 20-13. Of course, it's the first to 25. This is the penultimate home game. And boy, J-Pack nearly fumbled it into the ground. Nice recovery there, though, by the Mustangs. And an awkward set turns into a kill for Jada Robinson.
And so Apopka now up 21-13. This is the first set. Varsity High School Volleyball.
Taylor Adams is into the game for the Darters. And yeah, that was an unusual set. They're coming from behind. That's much harder to hit than the kind that come backwards from the net toward you. And that serve had just a little bit too much mustard on it, and that'll produce a side out to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva to serve as libero, Jenna J-Pack.
And so J-Pack, the libero, puts the ball into play at the middle here from Apopka. Sent over by Baker. Wekiva's turn. They're going to attempt from the left here. Just have to get it over. Naldani at the net.
Jones took an attack there, and Concepcion's just going to send it back over any way she can. Another set going toward the net. This one, the timing is not right for Jada Robinson, and that'll be a free point for the Mustangs.
And we talked about at the beginning of the game as J-Pack puts the ball into play again, trailing 21-15. Wekiva comes off their best game last night against the Coe, even though it was a loss, and they continue to play well tonight, only trailing by 6 here, make that 7.
Kill by number 11, Kamaya Jones.
Of course, Apopka has been the better program in volleyball throughout the years. They come in this time a bit on the downside, at least in comparison to what they have been used to, 6-6. That's still better compared to Wekiva's 2-12. Wekiva actually, despite the record, is a team that you cannot take lightly, and there you see why, as the score is now 22-16.
A free ball kill by Shania Sylvain. Emily Harris returns to the game for the Mustangs, and she will serve next.
Even though Apopka is only 2-12, they are actually fairly close in most of those sets. It's just a matter of getting a consistency among the quality of play. And we're going to exchange points here, 22-17. A little too hard there from Reyes. So Harris back on the serve, the defensive specialist. Wekiva's turn as Concepcion sets on the right side. Apopka now will attempt here with Jones.
J-Pack with a nice dig there, but it goes right back to the Darters. And that one's going to stick. Darter kill by Isabel Reyes. Returning to the game for the Darters, number 2, Lyndon Warren. Next to serve, number 11, Kamaya Jones.
So Jones has been integral part of this game, and she's going to bring up an ace.
Jones with the ace, set points, Darters.
Couple of bounces by Jones, and not going to be able to put this set away on this serve. Too long, 24-18. Palmer with the serve, and she will not be able to get it over the net. 25-18 in favor of Apopka. Set 1 comes to an end.
That takes us to the end of the first set. It's a 25-18 victory for the Darters in set number 1, and they take a 1-0 lead for the match over the Mustangs. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, getting ready for set number 2. The Mustangs have the opening service of the second set, beginning once again with Luis Concepcion.
And so Wekiva will use the same setter rotation, the same serving rotation as Concepcion with the ace. A low shot, unable to return. Coming up next after Concepcion in the serving will be Denia Jackson. Number 3 will be Ariel Welch. Number 4, Madeline Holmes. Number 5, Cassidy Palmer. And number 6, Shania Sylvain, as we have a 2-0 lead for Wekiva. 2 aces by Concepcion. Concepcion came into the game the leading ace on Wekiva.
And she almost makes it 3.
At the middle, Apopka is going to attempt the attack from the left side, and they're going to get an assist from the net and break the 3-point run.
Jada Middlebrooks on the darter kill. Service to Apopka for the first time of the second set. Leading their rotation, Laurel Rogers.
And after Rogers, we'll have Kayla Pickard. Number 3, as the ball is put into play, is Noelle Barker. Number 4, Kimberly Eckards. Number 5, the captain, Kamaya Jones. Isabel Reyes is 5. And rounding out the serving rotation for Apopka will be Jada Robinson. So 2-2. In the second set, Apopka took the first set 25-18. Ball put into play from the middle. We're going to get an attack here.
Mustang kill by Ariel Welch. Her third kill of the night. Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, number 5, Denia Jackson.
Jackson, the outside hitter, 5'3" sophomore. Sets the ball into play and attack by Smith.
And it looks like the darters are called into the net. So the Mustangs will get a freebie there as Emma Smith got a little too close to Mustang territory on that attack.
Jackson puts the ball back into play. Best of 5 in high school volleyball. Smith from the middle, and
Emma Smith gets the darter kill and produces a side out for Apopka. Checking into the game for the darters is number 4, Destiny Concepcion. And she will serve next.
So Concepcion, several bounces, several dribbles, puts the ball up, hits the ball into play on the left side. At the left side, attack by Jones, score the point.
Kamaya Jones picks up her third kill of the night.
And we are tied at 4-4. Apopka holding a 1-0 lead. Oh, way too hard and out of bounds.
Now that one was wide left. Side out to the Mustangs. Serving as libero for Wekiva, number 16, Jenna J-Pack.
So J-Pack been player of the game on September 23rd against Jones, and she will get another ace. That was
just a little bit too hot. Went over the end line. And we got a substitution. Checking into the game for Apopka, number 1, Taylor Adams, and she will have the next service.
And this is Adams' first action of the night. We are at Mustang Gymnasium. The Apopka rivals, only about 5 miles apart. Apopka and Wekiva going at it. As Adams puts the ball into play, Wekiva has to hit it over. They do so. Attack from the middle by Apopka. And out of bounds off the hands of J-Pack.
Lily Messier on the kill. That's her first kill of the night.
Adams, a libero and a defensive specialist, as well as a junior. Apopka relying on the 6-2 formation as Concepcion sets her teammate up here. And that was Holmes, just not able to quite get that ball in bounds there. So a 7-5 lead for Apopka now. second meeting of the year as Adams puts the ball into play. Apopka won the first. Concepcion setting it up, the setter, hit by Jackson. Into the middle where Apopka attacks from the right. Palmer's going to send the ball back over to the Apopka side. Jones setting over to the right, and Edwards with the point. 8-5 Apopka.
Kimberly Edwards picks up her first kill of the evening. And that'll make it a 3-point lead for the Darters.
So in volleyball, you have a setter. The setter is the equivalent of the quarterback in football. And we talked about the 6-2 formation, which Apopka's using. That means there's 2 setters and pass to 6 different players as Apopka extends that lead. No, actually it's a Wekiva point.
And that attack a little bit out of bounds there, and Emily Harris returns to the game to serve for Wekiva.
So Harris, the defensive specialist, number 1, and she did lead. She was second in aces, but not this time. A little too long.
Checking into the game for the Darters, number 8, Kayla Picard, and number 12, Isabel Reyes. Next to serve for the Blue Darters will be Picard.
So both these teams will be in district championship tournament action next week. Apopka looking to go in with an above 500 record. They're 6-6 currently as the ball's put into play from the middle. Sylvain.
Good look there from Sylvain. Didn't quite get there. That one's long. Is it too long? Waiting for a signal from the line. And they are going to award it as inbound. So a kill for Isabel Reyes.
So Kimberly,
some ambiguity there from the line judges at first, and it was ultimately ruled in.
Kimberly Edwards will continue at the serve. Middle blocker, right side player. She puts it in. J-Peck, as she's supposed to, the
Here
libero.
comes Sylvain, and it's dug by the Darters. Jones will come back and immediately attack Jackson, who had it there. Some miscommunication, and it's going to cost the Darters. Service returns to the Mustangs. Cassidy Palmer is next in the lineup for Wekiva.
Palmer, player of the match on October 3rd. That was against East River.
And she is likely the strongest server of the Mustangs. 3 aces already in the books tonight, and she was the leading server when we saw her play last night as well.
In the meantime, Wekiva trying to cut that 3-point gap. Apopka with the return. Palmer sets to Concepcion, who attacks.
Sylvain on the attack there, and that's going to be well prepared by the Darters. And here we're going to get a kill by Kamaya Jones. That's her 4th tonight.
We are at Mustang Gymnasium. Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. Apopka with a 11-7 lead in set 2. They also won the first set. Best of 5 in high school varsity volleyball. That lead's now going to be 12-7, an ace.
3rd ace in the books for Jones, and we'll pause for a Mustang timeout. Wekiva requests their first timeout of set number 2. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome back to Mustang Gymnasium. I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. Apopka holding a 12-7 lead over Wekiva. And Kamaya Jones with another ace.
Yeah, that is the 4th ace for Jones. And it'll give the Darters a 6-point advantage over the Mustangs. We had kind of a back and forth momentum going at the early second set, but it has been all Apopka these last few services.
Harris sets.
Well, no, it's not either. Concepcion didn't have a sporting chance at that one. And that'll also count as an ace for Jones since the Mustangs were not able to handle the initial service.
Apopka now doubles their lead at 14-7. They won the first set, best out of 5 in varsity high school volleyball. That's JPEC, and Wekiva has to send it over, set by Messier. And Middlebrooks.
There was a tip there. Mustangs handle it, and it's going to be a battle at the net, and it is won with a kill by number 7, Shania Sylvain. That is her 3rd tonight, and she will also have the next service for Wekiva.
2 players going up at the net, hitting the ball at the same time. It's just who gets more strength when they hit the ball.
Yeah, and on the Darter side, that was just a lackluster effort there.
Sylvain with the serve.
Picard attempts to dump it over. Mustangs are ready for it, though. This time we'll go for a more traditional set. Middlebrooks goes to Harris, who keeps the ball in play. Concepcion tries to do something tricky there, but the Darters are ready for it.
Play continues with Pickard setting.
Jones on the attack.
Ball kept in play by Apopka.
Well, this is an impressive service here. Mustangs are going to settle for a free ball, but there's a miscommunication between Palmer and Jackson. Both of them went for it, neither one of them got it. Service back to the Darters. Next in the rotation will be Lily Messier. But first, we have a substitution. Checking into the game will be Emma Smith.
So as Smith checks back in, the middle blocker.
Yeah, Neil, that's
Messier.
just kind of a rookie mistake there for the Mustangs. I know it's a short season, but this late in the season, you got to eliminate those kinds of errors.
It is short, but Wekiva this is their 15th match.
Yeah, Wekiva has had a very dense season. Madeline Holmes comes back into the game for Emily Harris. Next to serve will be Lois Concepcion.
Concepcion, the setter. She was player of the match on October 3rd against St. Cloud, a softball and weightlifter as well. And nice serve there. Saves the ball, it sets. And yes,
it is out.
Oh, it was out.
Yeah, signaled by the linesman, who had a perfect view of it. It was close.
It looked like Wekiva was going to be able to build on that, put themselves in the position to do some building. So as we were talking, Mark, Wekiva has played 17 games in 20 days. We're not including Saturday or Sunday. They were on the road for about 2.5 weeks. They just returned last night with the match against Ocoee. And about 2/3 of their matches during the shortened season, only 15 games, is going to be on the road. The score is now 17-9.
Laurel Rogers picks up her 2nd ace of the night as she takes over service for the Darters.
Ball put into play, and another ace. Well, Apopka has sprinkled in those aces at just the right time to keep momentum.
So now 3 aces in the books for her.
And Rogers goes back to the serve. Palmer handles it, set up by Concepcion, over the middle by Welch. Nice smack down.
Ariel Welch gets the Mustangs kill, side out to Wekiva. Next to serve will be Denia Jackson.
And the district championship tournaments will take place next week. Speaking of a dense season, as Apopka extends lead 19-10, crossing shot.
Kill there by Jada Middlebrooks. Service back to Apopka. Coming in for Middlebrooks will be number 4, Destiny Concepcion.
And Concepcion will also take the serve. She's the libero/defensive specialist. Senior, overhead serve. JPEC gets the ball rolling, hit over by Welch. Apopka returns. Wekiva returns, and now we're going to get set up here by Apopka. See what they can do. They just get the ball over.
Trying to make something out of nothing there. JPEC ready for that. Here comes Holmes. Good placement, but the Darters are able to get there, and even better placement by Laurel Rogers on the darter kill. And Neil, you were talking about the strength of serving. Apopka has nearly twice as many aces as the Mustangs do. They lead 11-6 on that stat.
And so Concepcion will go back to the serve. Concepcion setting again. Concepcion on the Apopka side sets.
And there's a cross attack from the darters. That was number 6. That's Kimberly Edwards on the kill.
Yeah, in clarification, now that Destiny Concepcion is in, there are 2 Concepcions. Destiny plays for Apopka. Lois plays for Wekiva. They're both setters, too. So, excuse me, Destiny's a libero.
Good looking attack there by Welch, but the darters are able to handle it.
From the left side.
Here comes Edwards. J-Pac's got it.
Concepcion sets. Palmer, we've seen that a few times this week, and that is going to drop right into that corner.
Cassidy Palmer on the Mustangs kill. Now that was close, but the line judge was staring right at it and had a perfect view. Jenna J-Pac will be next to serve for Wekiva.
J-Pac, leading ace for Wekiva, gets the ball in, and Wekiva will get this. Well, no, they're not going to get it over.
The Mustangs are called just a little bit into the net.
So even if they were able to get to that ball, it still would have been appointed for Apopka. Second meeting between these inner city rivals. Apopka taking the first set by 3 sets, taking the first match, winning all 3 sets. Schools about 5 miles apart. And now serving is Taylor Adams, the junior. Overhand serve to the right side where JPEG sets. Concepcion sets again, attack. Some diving from Apopka to save, and Wekiva now takes his turn. Concepcion to Palmer once again. Another dive by Apopka. Hit over by Edwards. JPEG setting.
Free ball coming from Sylvain. Here Coach Perot encouraging the team to talk. Again, the Mustangs struggling a little bit with communication, and that gets them right there as Concepcion doesn't get out of the way. Sylvain's not able to get there. And the Darters 2 points away from taking the second set.
So 23-11 in set 2. Apopka looking to go up 2-0. They're wearing their white shirts with the blue numbers. Wekiva in the dark blue and the yellow slash
well, that'd
tan.
be gold, Neil, since
Gold,
that's the school
gold.
color.
Yes, gold. Apopka will now set. It'll be Messier doing the honors, and she gets the ball in. So we are now at set point. Apopka on the verge of taking a 2-0 lead.
Lily Messier picks up her second kill of the night. Set point, Darters.
Adams needs one more point here to bring the second set to a close. Concepcion tries to take it herself and couldn't quite get the point. Apopka, great job of retrieving.
Yep, had to settle for a free ball there. They ran out of hits. And bad communication by the Mustangs again. And the Mustangs can't get it over in 3. That takes us to the end of set number 2. 25-11 is the final score of the second set. And the Darters will take a 2-0 lead for the match over the Mustangs.
And we will be back with the start of set 3. Apopka holding a 2-0 lead. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. And so far, it has been dominated by Apopka, 25-18 and 25-11, the scores of the first two sets. And Wekiva will see if they can get some momentum going here in the third and avoid a loss in straight sets tonight on senior night. The Blue Darters have the opening service of set number 3. Leading their rotation is number 8, Kayla Picard. And the first service is into the net. Side out to the Mustangs. Leading the rotation for Wekiva once again is number 11, Lois Concepcion.
Concepcion, we mentioned player of the match on October 3rd against St. Cloud. Coach Lorenz talked about her hustle. She's a setter, and she's going to get an ace. No, she is not. That was too long. So we are tied at 1-1. Concepcion is the leads Wekiva in aces.
Service to the Darters, but first, checking into the game for Apopka, number 4, Destiny Concepcion. And she will have the service.
Yes, the other Concepcion now. One plays for Apopka, one plays for Wekiva. This Concepcion, Destiny for Apopka, is a senior libero defensive specialist, and she gets the ball in. Concepcion sets it over to Palmer.
Now Palmer just had to keep that one in play and barely does. Coming in hot from Edwards, and Edwards gets the kill. Yeah, Concepcion had a good look at that dig, but just couldn't pull it in under control.
In high school varsity volleyball, best of 5 sets.
So a win in this set would give the match to Apopka. The Mustangs must win this set to stay alive.
Concepcion once again gets into the middle and sets up, but
miscommunication there. Abiana Hall did not go after that until it was far too late.
Concepcion looking for her third consecutive point with a 3-1 lead being held by Apopka. JPEC.
Oh, poor serve receive there, goes right into the net, and
no-man.
Nobody on Wekiva's side had a chance at that one.
Yeah, no man's land. The ball landed right against that net. So Concepcion, Destiny Concepcion, will serve again for Apopka. 3 dribbles, spins the ball, overhead slap, and this one's going to stay in. It was a longer one.
Here comes Hall, and again, too late, too low, and into the nets.
4 consecutive points by Apopka. They have opened up a 5-1 lead. They already hold a 2-0 lead. Second match for these two intercity rivalries. Apopka winning 3-0 on September 15th as the ball is put into play by Adams.
Mustangs will have to settle for a free ball here. Good look coming up from Baker, and she's got a good placement. JPAC not able to get there. Baker on the kill.
So I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. This is the second to last regular season game for Apopka. They will play Windermere on Thursday. It's a road game. Wekiva has 2 more games left, and they're going to lose another point here.
Yeah, I mean, Concepcion didn't really do anything wrong there. There just wasn't anybody in that part of the courts. And Mustangs effectively got a kill against themselves there, and I'll pause and talk it over. The Mustangs request their first timeout of set number 3. We'll take a break with them.
And welcome back to Mustang Gymnasium in Apopka, Florida, at the corner of Hiawassee and State Route 429. Taylor Adams serving for Apopka in a 7-1 lead being held by the Blue Darters in this cross-city rivalry.
The Mustangs, particularly in the third set, have just been a little discombobulated. Not really having any kind of rhythm, and
That continues.
yep, Apopka is going to continue their streak. That is a kill by Kimberly Edwards.
7 consecutive points here for Apopka. I believe all 7 points have been scored with Adams at the serve. Excuse me, Concepcion at the serve. Number 4. Concepcion serves it again.
Goes straight
Jackson.
to Jackson, and there's a free ball is going to have to be settled for as Palmer not able to get there in time to do anything else with it.
And Messier with the kill found that open territory in the back row.
Well, that would have been a kill anyway, but the Mustangs are going to rob her of credit for that because they were into the net, so it would have been Apopka's point regardless. Now on an 8-point streak, leading 9-1. If the Darters win this set, they will take the match.
Yes, it's best of 5, and Apopka has a 2-0 lead.
Madeline Holmes in for the Mustangs.
And the serve by Concepcion. The other Concepcion sets. Handled there by Naldoni, the libero. From the left, JPEG blocks. Sent over and out of bounds as well. Concepcion with the overhead set, serve. So be taken by Holmes and into the net. It was blocked right there by Baker, but the ball was actually a little bit below the top of the net.
Darters leading the Mustangs 21-11 in kills as we're about midway through the third set here. That one goes to J-Pack. She sends it right back over. Messier tries to do something cute at the net. Mustangs ready for it. There comes Baker, hard. Mustangs able to handle it. Welch doesn't have anything with Concepcion there and ready. J-Pack sends it right back over. Couldn't really do much else with that. Messier goes off speed, and she's got it. Willie Messier with the kill. And that was just perfect placement there. She saw an opening that the Mustangs did not have covered right there in the center of the floor and aimed right for it with that off-speed attack.
So Concepcion continues, now over 10 consecutive points. The other Concepcion sets for Wekiva. Naldoni sets, and that's going to fall on Apopka. Good fortune favoring Apopka. That ball just bounced right inside in bounds.
Kimberly Edwards picks up the kill. And so now 12 consecutive services for Destiny Concepcion. This one goes to J-Pack. Here comes Welch, and it's barely handled by Picard.
Concepcion joins the fray and hits
Welch
the
again.
Naldoni setting.
Edwards has had a couple of good kills in this run, and she is not going to get another one right there.
Apopka going to try again. Edwards, this time she goes to the soft touch. 13-1 in favor of Apopka, a 12-point run. All the points scored with Concepcion on the serve.
Kimberly Edwards picks up her 6th kill of the night.
So I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi.
Edwards is kind of coming out of nowhere here. Her stats have improved dramatically later in the set we get, and she's quickly becoming a team leader.
Yeah, she's been getting a lot of opportunities here, set up real well there. Welch, too hard.
Yep, that one is going to be past the end line, and we're going to see another timeout here. The Mustangs request their second and final timeout of set number 3.
So when we return, Wekiva has some work to do, trailing 15-1 in the third set. I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. This is the Wekiva Mustangs. We return to Mustang Gymnasium. I'm Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. This is the third set of Varsity Volleyball. Apopka versus Wekiva. Apopka holding a 15-1 lead in a 2-0 set. Concepcion on the serve, and the streak is finally over.
Madeline Holmes picks up the Mustang kill. Side out return, service returns to the Mustangs. And next up for Wekiva, Denia Jackson.
14 consecutive points scored by Apopka. Concepcion doing the serving. And now they'll try to build on that with Jackson serving.
And a poor placement almost set up an easy kill by Edwards.
Apopka does save it. Naldoni sends it over.
Oh,
now
not a great pass there from J-Pack, but the Mustangs are able to recover. Soft touch again from Edwards. It worked for her last time, and it's going to work again as Kimberly Edwards picks up kill number 7. Checking into the game for Apopka, number 1, Taylor Adams. And she will have the next service.
So Wekiva and Apopka about 5 miles apart. Apopka over on the northwest side of town. Wekiva, the newer school, although 14 years now, they're on the southeast side. And action at the middle, Apopka, Jada Robinson.
Robinson on the solo kill at the net, her third tonight. And boy, Neil, the Mustangs, even if they don't win this one, they'd like to get some more points on the scoreboard because you don't want a 2 going into a box score.
No, absolutely not. And this has been a situation, we talked at the beginning, they played really well last night against Ocoee. Despite the loss, it was their best performance. They were returning after about 2.5 weeks on the road. And they started off looking the same tonight, but they have just gone in the opposite direction here steadily over the course of 2.5 sets.
Jada Robinson picks up her 4th kill. Yeah, and Neil, to be clear, I mean, obviously Apopka is a stronger team than Ocoee, but it also is partially a difference on the Mustang side. Wekiva played relatively well against Ocoee, and they are just not finding their groove tonight against Apopka. Part of that is because Apopka is a perennial powerhouse and always a district favorite, but part of that is because the Mustangs just seem a little disheveled. But there is a moment of brightness. Side out to the Mustangs. Next up to serve for Wekiva will be number 16, Jenna J-Pack.
J-Pack de Libero, junior. She's also a softball player and weightlifter. So player of the game on September 23rd against Jones. Coach Lorenz liked her hustle in that game. And she sets it off here nicely for Wekiva. A miscue there from Jada Robinson, losing some focus.
Yeah, she's been really excellent tonight. And you saw her reaction as soon as she touched that ball. Like, oh my God, what did I just do? But you know what? You can be forgiven for the occasional lapse in judgment.
J-Peck back on the serve, and not an ace. Looked like we might get an ace from Wekiva.
Kayla Picard saved that one for Apopka. That was going under the net for sure. And now Jada Robinson picks up the kill. She seems to have found her mojo again since the previous service. Side out to the Darters. Checking into the game for Apopka, number 12, Isabel Reyes. And also in will be number 2, Lyndon Warren. Lyndon Warren, you may remember, led the first set with 3 kills. And we haven't heard quite as much from her since then. She still has just 3 kills, but she's added an ace.
Yeah, what I particularly like about this Apopka attack tonight is that each of their players have stood up for a stretch. It hasn't been one player. Each has taken a turn here. As Baker goes for the slam, and she will be successful off Wekiva and out of bounds, 20-4.
Noelle Baker with her 2nd kill of the night, and now the Darters are 5 points away from putting this one in the can.
Yeah, a sweep of not only tonight's match, but the season series, as Jackson will return, set up by Concepcion. Wekiva's got to get it over. You need to get it over in 3 taps. Attack by Warren. Nothing doing there as Palmer's going to try again, and her timing was just off, indecision.
Yeah, an anemic attempt there at the net, and that'll be a free point to the Darters, now 4 points away from victory.
And looking at Apopka's schedule, they are 6-6. However, they do play one of the tougher schedules. As you mentioned, they're a perennial postseason tournament qualifier, as Warren puts the ball in play to her counterpart number Palmer, both 12s. And this was clearly won by Warren. as Palmer hit the ball low.
Ace for Isabel Reyes. And now 3 points separate the Darters from an early night.
Yeah, Apopka has played Lake Brantley, Olympia, Boone, Lake Mary, and Edgewater, Dr. Phillips, and Olympia. Those last 3 games were a tournament they played on Saturday, as they are now 2 points away from sweeping this match in the season series. So even though they're 6-6, they have played a fairly difficult schedule. Some of the more highly ranked teams, highly thought of teams, as Warren goes to the jump serve. Tipped over by Concepcion from the middle. Attack on the left from Warren again. Concepcion once again sets. He is the setter. Dive, save, attack by Warren coming up from that setter serving position again. Going to get a set here. Use the third attack. Warren with that attack. Wekiva sends it over. Try here again. Warren, this is going to go from the left side, and it's Baker.
Noelle Baker picks up the kill for the Darters. That is her 3rd kill tonight. Match point, Apopka. Yeah, Baker not only picks up the kill there, but I think is going to leave a bruise on the Mustangs.
Yeah, that seemed like every attack was Warren. One more point here to go for Apopka to secure this victory in the sweep. Palmer will take it for Wekiva. Apopka sets. Warren again. This time she's just going to hit it over. Concepcion setting for Wekiva at the middle. And Wekiva staves off the loss. Sylvain.
Shania Sylvain on the Mustangs kill, her 4th tonight. Service back to Wekiva. Checking into the game for the Mustangs. Number 1, Emily Harris, and she'll serve.
Oh, Emily Harris, defensive specialist, 5'5" junior. She's second on the team with aces, also 39 digs, and that will do it. Unfortunately, she came in cold and hit the net. So 25-5 is your final score.
That takes us to the end of the set and the end of the match. 25-5, the final score of set number 3, and the Darters will take a 3-0 sweep of the match. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight to support your Mustang and Darter athletes, or for tuning in and joining us on the NFHS Network or YouTube Live. We hope that we will see you Thursday night for the Mustangs' final home game of the 2020 season. Again, that's coming up Thursday night against Lake Howell, and then the Mustangs will finish up on the road on Friday at West Orange before they go over to Winter Springs next Tuesday to play against Edgewater at 7 p.m. Again, the game is at Winter Springs, but is against Edgewater, and that is next Tuesday, October 13th at 7 p.m. for the district semifinal as the Mustangs enter postseason play. And so as we wrap things up here, Neil, not really the way that Wekiva wanted senior night to go. First couple of sets, the Mustangs maybe had something that was at least starting and stopping. But then with the third set, Wekiva just kind of wasn't able to build any sense of momentum. There was a lot of disheveled movement, a lack of communication, and led to an Apopka run and then another Apopka run.
Yeah, it just really seemed like in that third set, and we talked about it about 3 or 4 points from the end of the match. Wekiva started off very strong. They played as well. The quality was as good as it was last night against Ocoee. I think last night's game against Ocoee was somewhat of a watershed match. It really showed that Wekiva, what they're capable of doing. Maybe they're not quite ready to start winning games, but they certainly can give teams a challenge. They certainly can come in and provide some competition. And Wekiva began tonight's game that way, as you mentioned, Mark, but it just seemed like as the match progressed, that solidness and in particular that consistency that they played with last night against Ocoee, at least for more times than not, was lost. And when it was all said and done, it just felt like as that third set progressed, Wekiva just ran out of steam. It's not just the physical or tangible, but it really looked like they were mentally they were mentally tired as well. They, as you mentioned, Just looked really disheveled a number of times. And just mistakes you didn't see him making in the first 2 sets.
Yeah, Neil, so again, not exactly the way the Mustangs wanted to perform on senior night against their crosstown rivals, but nevertheless, we do want to again offer our congratulations to our seniors, Lois Concepcion, along with Shania Sylvain and Ariel Welch, our 3 Mustang members of the class of 2021. And we want to offer them special congratulations tonight and our thanks to their family members who were able to join us tonight to support them. We've been able to stay within our health and safety guidelines, but still allow our families to participate in this important rite of passage. And we know that in the spring season last year, we didn't get to do that for many of our teams. And so we're glad we're able to get back to doing traditional live senior night ceremonies. We hope you were able to join us for that as well. That's going to stay up on both YouTube and the NFHS network. We did have some connection problems with YouTube at the very beginning, and so if that was not a clean broadcast, then we will certainly get a clean broadcast posted because we do have one. And so we'll make sure that those stay online for posterity. But that'll do it for tonight. Neil and I will see you back here Thursday night as the Mustangs conclude the home season, and then that is the second to last total event for the fall season. You'll have to wait until soccer and basketball season before we'll have events at home again, although I should point out I'm not sure whether Wekiva intends to exercise this option in either football or volleyball, but there is an option available from the FHSAA this year because of the unique circumstances around the late start because of COVID-19 that teams who are eliminated from the playoffs have the opportunity to schedule additional regular season games up through the date of the state championship. Of course, obviously the first choice is to stay in the playoffs,
yes.
In which case you could always host games that way. But failing that, there is that option. Again, I am not sure whether Wekiva has any intent in either football or volleyball to exercise that option if it should become relevant. But if it does, then we will be here, and we will be bringing the games to you live. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, wishing you a great night.